All right, so this is my attempt to fix the remote for my Toto S500e Bidet. It stopped working. I think it has stopped working because there was a bunch of corrosion on the battery terminals. We'll find out. Anyway, the first step was getting this thing apart, which was a pain in the butt. Basically, there are two screws here, and then this little cover is up on the top here. There's a little tab here. You push in and it will flip up and out. And then those four holes there, there's screws in those. And then you can take out this piece, there's the screws, and then you can pop out this little rubber piece. And then you can pry the whole thing open. So your remote's gonna look like crap after this, honestly. Like, it's not easy to get apart. I started prying from these two slots on the back, but it's in two halves. There are these two ribbon cables. There are two little snap looking things here. You don't have to pop those. That's for this piece to get the display and keypad off the back. But basically, there are just little tabs down the sides that snap together. So I pried the back up a bit, and then I pried here, and then kind of, massaged the sides to get one side to pop off, and then the other side. So the main thing is you don't want to break these ribbon cables. You don't want to rip it apart. You just want to gently fold it open. And so you can see I've got a ton of rust there, probably from a battery leaking. I'm not exactly sure how old this thing is. It came with a house that I recently bought. But yeah, so when I pulled it apart, this wire connection that goes to the terminal broke, and I clipped the other one. I'm going to see if I can apply 3 volts power across there and see if it works, and then go from there. Okay, so I've got a bench power supply set to about 3 volts DC going into the remote. So on the white pads there, I've got it marked plus and minus voltage based on how the battery compartment's laid out, and it works now, or at least it turns on. There you go, it's working. So if I can get the battery compartment put back together or hack a battery onto it, I should save myself about $200 or $70 in an aftermarket remote. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do to try and repair this is cut out this portion of the battery box and basically just drop this one in. It looks like, it's obviously smaller side to side and front to back, and it looks like also vertically it's smaller, and that will still leave this notch on each side and this notch at the front, and that's where these 3 tabs and actually these other 2 at the side engage. So this cover should just slide back on over it. And then I'll run these wires, basically to those pads at the bottom there, solder those on, leave a little loop underneath, and hopefully it should be good to go. So I'm just gonna try and do that with a Dremel tool and see how it goes. Oh, and I should add this little battery box is just something I bought off Amazon for a couple dollars actually I already had it. It was in a pack with single, double, and triple cell holders, I believe. And then to get the ribbon cables out, on the bigger one here, if you take a screwdriver or some kind of pick tool and raise up on each end a little at a time, this black piece will pop up and then you can pull the ribbon cable straight up out. This one, on the small cable, I actually broke. Hopefully it will go back together, but I believe the way it works is you raise up on the back of this tab and then the cable will pull out, and then you reinsert the cable and then push that down. I broke off a little piece of the white plastic over on that side. Hopefully it will go back together. Okay, I've got this all cut out so I can put my batteries in there. Could clean it up a bit more, but not going to see that from the outside. You do have to actually cut all the way through, so at least with this one, so I could push it down far enough that the cover will go over it. And there's a little latch that dives into there, so it seems to be okay with the edge of the battery compartment flush with the top of this surface here. So now I'll try and get it wired up and then snap it all back together. All right, and I got everything all snapped back together and it looks like it's working again. The edges are a little beat up from prying it apart, but you know, when it's sitting in the bracket on the wall, I think it will be fine.